Welcome to the Carahsoft Data Center Innovation Series, where we take a close look at the tech, trends, and issues shaping the future of data centers all across the public sector. I'm your host, Carahsoft Consulting CTO Scott Robon. With us in the studio today, we have two great guests, Jay O'Brien, a solutions architect with Equinix, and Don Wiggins, principal solutions architect for global public sector at Equinix. Don and Jay support a wide variety of public sector clients and one of the most interesting technology providers in the data center space today. We'll be touching on the importance of the crossroads of the internet, digital cul-de-sacs, their focus on physical and digital infrastructure, and much more. So Don and Jay, welcome to you both. Thanks for being here and coming into the studio. As we get started, could each of you give our listeners a brief intro, your history in the data center and internet infrastructure world, and your respective roles? Jay, why don't we start with you?
Good morning. Thanks for having us. I've been in the data center and networking world and IT world for probably going over 40 years. So I've been with Equinix for the last 10 years as a sales engineer and a solution architect, where we help customers really understand the technology today, how to consume it. From a network perspective, I was involved in the beginnings of the internet, working with a company called UUNet,
Sure.
which was the first public commercial ISP.
Very good. Welcome.
Thank you.
Don.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. Don Wiggins, today a solution architect at Equinix, but like Jay, have spent many decades in the industry in varied capacities in technology, again, for about 40 years. I'm a retired Air Force veteran, so that sort of put me in the crosshairs of supporting a lot of public sector business.
Sure.
In the role that I hold today. So looking forward to expanding on that.
Very good. Well, let's dive in. Now, we have listeners who might not be familiar with Equinix, and you really are unique in the industry. So Don, let's ask you to take a first pass of, give us an overview of Equinix, what you do, and how you've evolved.
Yeah, so again, I've been there for about 12 years. What I noticed right away was it's always been a gathering place for the exchange of ideas. We began our role in the industry as the service provider's provider, if you will. At that time, more specifically, our customers were the telcos of the day,
right,
that were building the public internet. Jay can speak, certainly deeply about that. But that was really our critical mass in early days, providing a carrier-neutral, secure, regulatory compliant meeting place,
right,
for the telcos of the day. And then that, sort of like everything else in technology, evolved over time. The cloud service providers took note of what we were doing with the networks, also recognized that many of them lived and operated at Equinix, upwards in the 1,000+ range.
Sure.
of network providers. And so the cloud providers recognized that their offerings were very network dependent. So it made a lot of sense to maybe sort of replicate what the networks did and move into geostrategic locations at Equinix to launch their offerings. So it's become today, in 2025, quite literally the world's largest digital marketplace.
Right.
And we're very proud of that. It's very exciting times for us. A lot of activities going on today in the ecosystem.
Jay, do you want to add to that or flesh any of that out with your UNet history? I'm sure there's a lot you could talk about from, the early days of primarily interconnect, but you've grown into so much more than that.
Yeah, certainly. So if you rewind a little bit, we're a 28-year-old company, and the early days of the internet, it was the wild, wild west. The networks, the internet is a network of networks,
Right.
hundreds and thousands of networks, and they need to come together someplace so that they can exchange information. If we think about it in our daily lives, we don't think about, where does Netflix live? Where does Uber live?
Right.
We just know that it works.